Please be standing for the Premier of Bermuda, the Honourable David Bush. His Excellency the Governor.
Good morning. Please do take a seat. Honourable Premier, Ministers, Members of the House of Assembly, Deputy Cabinet Secretary, ladies and gentlemen, I'm pleased to welcome you to Government House this morning for the swearing in and appointment of a new Minister. The making of ministerial appointments falls to me as Governor, acting on the advice of the Premier under Section 58 of the Constitution. And the new Minister will be asked to make the affirmation of allegiance and the affirmation for due execution of his office as a Minister in a moment. But let me first please hand over to Premier Burt to make his announcement of the new Minister. Premier.
Good morning, Governor, and good morning, friends and colleagues this morning. As we will understand that there was recently a resignation from the Cabinet of former Minister Zane de Silva, as is stated, and he's here today. He continues to support the government in its mission to advance what we were elected to do. But it is my pleasure today to announce a new Minister, and that new Minister, of course, is no stranger to Cabinet and no stranger to the very important Ministry of Social Development and Sports. The new Minister, of course, will be MP Michael Weeks, the government whip, and in his role as social development and sports, as he has always said, is the glue that holds the community together. It is a very important ministry, and it is something that for those who know MP Weeks, he has a deep passion for the community, he has a deep passion for sports. As someone who has worked in community service for a very long time, I have every confidence that he will be able to demonstrate the passion for the job, executing on the government's wishes, the very important matters of financial assistance reform, the very important matters of community club regeneration, and the very important matters of making sure that our social fabric and our culture continues to be highlighted. So with that, I extend the congratulations of the government, and I look forward to welcoming Minister to the Cabinet. Sir.
Thank you, Premier. I may now invite Mr. Weeks to come and make the affirmation of allegiance and the affirmation for execution of his office. Sir.
Good morning, everyone. Good morning. My affirmation of allegiance. I, Michael Anthony Weeks, do solemnly and sincerely affirm and declare that I will be faithful and bear true allegiance to Her Majesty Queen Elizabeth II, her heirs and successors according to law. Affirmation for the due execution of the office of Minister. I, Michael Anthony Weeks, being appointed a Minister, do solemnly and sincerely affirm and declare that I will do to the best of my judgment at all times, when so required, freely give my counsel and advice to the Governor or any other person for the time being lawfully performing the functions of that office, for the good management of the public affairs of Bermuda. And I do further solemnly and sincerely affirm and declare that I will not, on any account, at any time whatsoever, disclose the counsel, advice, opinion, or vote of any particular minister or junior minister, and that I will not, except with the authority of the Cabinet, and to such extent as may be required for the good management of the affairs of Bermuda, directly or indirectly reveal the business of or proceedings of the Cabinet or the nature or contents of any documents communicated to me as a minister, or any matter coming to my knowledge in my capacity as such, and that in all things I will be a true and faithful minister. Thank you.
Thank you, Minister. And if you can come and join me for signature of the document, I'd be grateful.
We got a pants here?
Thank you. Minister, congratulations on your appointment.
Thank you.
And let me invite you, if you wish to say a few words, joined by the Premier first.
You speak first, I think. Okay. I made my salutations and good morning earlier. First of all, I want to start off by thanking our God, and I want to thank our Honorable Premier for having faith in me that I can do the job. I'm always mindful that I serve at the pleasure. I serve the cabinet at the pleasure of the Premier. But as I see some of my executive from my constituency, they remind me too that I serve as a member of Parliament at the pleasure of my constituents and Bermuda as a whole, and that will keep me grounded as I endeavor to do the business of our people. I have acknowledged my wife, who's always there, here, she's my confidant. I acknowledge my mom, my sisters, and my brother. They're always there encouraging me. And I pledge, and everyone else, I hope I don't miss nobody. I love you all for coming, for taking the time, colleagues and friends alike. But as the new Minister of Social Development and Sport, as the Premier said, I come with a list of accomplishments that I've done in that ministry. But as we know, you're not judged on what you've done. So I pledge to work hard. I pledge to be the best that I can be. And I'll tell the people of Bermuda that my decisions as minister may not always be what you want to hear. But trust me, that Michael Weeks would always make a decision that is fair and honest. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you very much, Minister. Governor, if there's any members of the media that have any questions, I'll be happy to take them at this time. All right. You may certainly.
Mr. Weeks, this ministry is what we consider the bond that keeps the country going towards and development, social development.
Yes.
How do you being a shadow minister of this ministry prior, now that you're a minister, what is the first order of business to ensure that it can elevate it and make it much stronger than what it was?
Well, I answer this way, Mr. Basin. The Premier in the last throne speech made a commitment for us as a government to address the needs of the community and social clubs and sports clubs, and by extension, the various sports. The former minister, Minister De Silva, was very active in trying to adhere to that directive, and I will do the same. So before I make any kind of decisions, I would like to be afforded the opportunity to sit with the PS and other relevant members so I could give you a proper answer in due course.
Through your experience, what do you see from the outside looking in now that you're going to go in the inside? What have you seen?
Oh, what I see a whole lot. I mean, it's endless. The time has long been overdue for us to acknowledge and bring our community and sporting clubs to the 21st century. I have always said that if we get social development and sports right, that is the glue of our community, and that would address a lot of the issues that we have, the antisocial problems that we have. I firmly believe that we get social development and sports right, we would address a lot of the issues.
And final question for me to the Premier. The attention put on this particular ministry is something that is long overdue. Putting it in Mr. Weeks' hands after the capable hands of Mr. De Silva, how much pressure are you putting on the minister to ensure that the ministry actually gets what, the country goes in the direction you want it to go in?
Here's what I would say, Earl. I would say that I expect that by the end of this parliamentary session, that my entire cabinet will be diamonds, because I place a tremendous amount of pressure on all members of the cabinet. And I place a tremendous amount of pressure on all members of the party in order to deliver on the mandate of which we've been given. It is a very serious business, the governance of this country. And over the past 6 to 7 months, we've realized the challenges of making difficult decisions and making sure that we execute on the agenda which we were given. But we laid out a platform, and we're going to be holding true to our platform. And not only Minister Weeks, but the other 9 members of cabinet and myself are working daily to make sure that we can deliver. So the pressure for him is immense. The pressure for all of his cabinet colleagues is immense. The pressure for our backbenchers are immense, because people expect delivery. They expect results, and they expect us to progress on the issues of which they voted us here for. And so from that perspective, lots of pressure, but I'm certain that all of us are up to the task, and we will do it collectively together, because that's what it is. It's not just one minister, it's us as a team, the cabinet, the backbench, and the community working to make sure we advance the matters of the society.
I would ask you about finances. This is a big ministry. There are a lot of people that are still suffering and hurting out in the community. And if you go down to the entrance to Global House on the first of the month, you see a lot of seniors coming in. Are you going to be a hands-on minister to communicate with these individuals?
Financial assistance is definitely financial assistance reform is definitely a passion of mine. So, like I said, let me get into the office and meet with the PS and the relevant directors to see how far the former minister had progressed. And by all means, that is one of my real aims, to help with financial reform and see how I could best help our country going forward.
Minister Weeks, official. Now, Minister Weeks, first of all, congratulations.
Thank you.
When you look at sports, what would be considered your first order of business? I know you said inside that you wanted to meet with the PS, meet with the directors and so forth, but what will you be looking for, listening out for, to try and address some of the issues involving sports?
Well, when a lot of times when we talk about assisting the sporting and community clubs, we think the bricks and mortar, but I want to talk to their executives. I want to listen to the concerns of the various sporting bodies and see what we as a government can do if we have not done something in the past. What can we do to enhance the overall product? Because I really and truly believe that sports is a way out for a lot of young men and women, and if we could get them more involved in sports, we would very well see a lot of our antisocial behavior decrease.
Now, you come into this ministry with a wealth of experience in both social development and in sports, being a club member of this Western Star Sports Club and various other organizations. So do you feel you have an upper hand of knowing deep down how things operate at the club level?
Well, most definitely. I have been hands-on. I've rolled up my sleeves and got right down into the nuts and bolts of club life. So I do bring some experience, but we always be mindful that it's ever changing. It's ever changing. The older guys move away, the younger guys have different ideas. So what I need to do is just get in and listen. And not going in with any preconceived ideas.
Over the next few months, we have Bermuda's involved in some significant major events. We have the under-17 women heading off to Nicaragua. We have the cricket team heading to Argentina and then off to Malaysia. We have we'll be hosting the triathlon in April and the Commonwealth Games, all in a short span of time. But as the new minister, what would your message be to those athletes who are preparing to represent our country?
Well, I would advise all the athletes to prepare well. If they're going to be representing our country, do what they have to do so they'll be the best representatives. I would reach out to the sporting bodies to make sure that they have the tools needed in order to represent Bermuda to the best of their ability. But more important, I would like to reach out to the community. You know what I mean? Because our community support is what fuels. It fuels the participation and the effort on the field of battle. You know, so our community, I would ask, see them off, see them in training. You know, call them and tell them, you know, that we support them. You know, take up a collection for them in church, because we take up a lot of collections in church. But some of them, you know, could be for the students that may go to a particular denomination. So it's a community effort. You know, if we want good results, we want our community behind our athletes.
All right, well, I know you got to get to work, so off you go.
I'm telling you. I'm about to change my shoes into my sneakers. A lot of work to be done.